Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm going to be talking about what would happen if Deku was a vigilante. Now, this story is 100% all written by the absolute legend, Gigi Haha. You can find his links down below in Wattpad. He's the creator of this incredible story, and I'm simply telling it to you guys in audio format on YouTube. So all the credit doesn't go to me. It goes to that absolute mad lad. That said, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys go on to enjoy this story, do all that basic YouTube stuff, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. You get the point. Anyways, enjoy.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Kid, you can't be a hero, All Might said. Midoriya was crushed by the man he looked up to since he was a kid. He fell to his knees and cried. Then Midoriya stood up and looked at All Might dead in the eye, sending a cold chill down All Might's spine. Midoriya gave him a look of pure hatred. "I hate you," Midoriya said while pointing at All Might. All Might just looked at Midoriya sadly. "I'll show you that I can be a hero. I don't need a stupid quirk." Then, Midoriya stormed off. I'm done. I don't want to be a hero or a villain. I also don't want to just stand by anymore. What can I be? Midoriya thought, as he ran into his house, ignoring his mom and running straight to his room. He grabbed one of the All Might figures he had and he stared at it for a while before snapping it. He slammed the figure on the ground. He lost it at that moment and tore up every single All Might themed item he had in his room, which was quite a lot. What a mess, Midoriya thought as he looked around his room. He didn't notice, but his mom was pounding on the door, crying the whole time. He opened the door and she immediately hugged Midoriya. Then she let go and looked around his room. What happened? Inko said. Midoriya then opened his mouth to speak but couldn't get out any words before he started crying right in front of his mother. She went to hug, but he yelled no, which caused her to jump a bit. Zuzu? Midoriya's nickname. It's okay. I'm not mad at the mess. We can clean it together. It's not that, Mom. It's... I can't do this anymore, Mom. All Might just told me I couldn't be a hero. He looked at his mom with tears streaming down his eyes, and she hugged him tightly as she said, You can be a hero, Zuzu. Midoriya pushed away, which shocked Inko. I don't want to be a hero anymore, Mom. I don't want to be a villain either, or a bystander. Inko wide-eyed by what Midoriya said. She sighed and said, Why not become a vigilante? Like me. A vigilante? Wait, what's a vigilante? You're a vigilante? Why didn't I know about this? Asked Midoriya, who had calmed down and was in pure shock. Inko laughed a bit at the sudden questions. A vigilante is someone who saves people like a hero, but they do it against the law. I'm a vigilante, and honestly, Izuku, I didn't tell you because I didn't know if you could handle it. I'm sorry. Izuku would immediately say, I'm in. What? No, Zuzu, it's dangerous, Inko said while grabbing Midoriya's shoulders and shaking them a bit. And he would say, then train me, with determination in him, which Inko saw and said, Fine, let's get started then. Inko said as she let go of Midoriya's shoulders and reached her hand out to Midoriya, waiting for him to grab it. He cautiously did so, and as soon as he did, she threw him over the shoulder. What? He gasped for air. You're going to need to stay on alert at all times. Grab my hand again. No tricks this time. I promise, Zuzu, Inko said while smiling. Midoriya slapped her hand away and got himself up as she clapped while saying, You learned. Good. Let's go. Inko then motioned Midoriya to follow her, and he did so cautiously. You know how to get to that beach with lots of trash on it, Zuzu? Inko asked Midoriya. He nodded. Good. Meet you there, she said while getting into the car, locking the doors, and she rolled the window down a bit and said, You need to work on your stamina, Zuzu. Run there. I'll be waiting. She sped off towards the beach. I want this, Izuku thought. I need this. As he was running, already 2 minutes in, struggling. About 30 minutes later and 3 miles afterwards, he would finally make it to the beach. Sweating like an animal. Inko was now doing push-ups. And let's just pretend that Inko isn't chubby, okay? Let's say that she's just as fit as she once was before Izuku got the news, right? She noticed him and stood up saying, "You took a while there, didn't you? You sure you want to do this, Zuzu?" Inko said, and he would say, "Yeah, I need this." And this was the start of Inko Midoriya and Deku becoming the greatest vigilantes ever. Okay, look. Oh, okay, author's note. If a POV is said, the POV will only last until the next topic appears. Example, Inko POV starts blah, 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 blah. 500 years later, POV stops here. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Midoriya... had a burp. Okay, Midoriya had went to the beach early to clean, but the beach... Wait, what? Okay, no, my bad. Midoriya had went to the beach early to clean out the beach. And yes, the whole beach. He knew it would be difficult, but 3 months had passed since he started training and he was going to do it. He was going to prove her wrong. Flashback to yesterday. I said, "Zuzu, I wonder if you could learn to clean this whole beach. I haven't been able to do it. Honestly, I don't really have the determination to try." Midoriya was doing sit-ups and stopped. "What? Am I a maid now? I thought this was vigilante training," Midoriya said sarcastically. I giggled and said, "Funny. Wow, very funny, Izuku. Very funny." I then said under my breath, "Not like you'd be able to do it anyways." I made sure to say it loud enough for Zuzu to hear, which is exactly what I wanted. Midoriya looked at me a bit angry, and I smirked as I watched him in my peripheral vision, and I was shocked to see his eyes fill with determination. I realized he was going to clean this beach. I knew that he'd prove me wrong. That's what I love about my little Izuku. Anyways, I said let's head home and I'll make us some food. "How does that sound, Izuku?" I said while turning to him. He seemed to be zoned out, so I walked up to him and waved my hand in front of his face. He snapped out of it immediately and he looked at me as I laughed a bit and said, "Let's go home, Zuzu. It's 9 p.m. I don't know about you, but I'm starving." Present time. As I was thinking about the incident from yesterday, by the way, this is Midoriya's POV, I reached the beach in 5 minutes. I was shocked but didn't waste any time. I started cleaning. It was about 4 a.m. She'd be here by 6 a.m. and I definitely have enough time. I hope so, thought Midoriya. 2 hours later, he would think to himself, I knew he'd do it. Or sorry, Inko would think to herself, as she saw the whole beach clean from all trash. Midoriya saw Inko and stumbled toward her. He tripped from being so exhausted. Luckily, Inko caught himself and he said, "See, I did it, Mom. You underestimated me." He immediately passed out due to exhaustion, and Inko ran her fingers through his hair and carried him to the car to the house and laid him in his bed. She had to go out on patrol tonight, so she took the car and went up to the beach back to train and arrived back home at about 6 p.m. I need to eat before patrol or I'll be rusty tonight, Inko thought, as she opened the front door, and when she saw Midoriya had already cooked something for her. Some pasta. She sighed and went up to Midoriya and gave him a pat on the head a bit and said, "I'm truly grateful to have a son like you, Izuku. I mean it." She said that last part sternly but with care at the same time. She ate and headed out for patrol. Midoriya soon after, she went to bed. Morning time would finally roll around 5 a.m. and in Midoriya's POV, we would see him waking up. I immediately went to my mom's room to see her laying there. I sighed relieved. I was about to walk out when I heard my mom say, "You do this every morning, Zuzu. I won't get caught. I still have to train you. No one, and I mean no one, will stop me from continuing to train you, Izuku." I sighed and said, "I know, but I just get worried, okay, Mom? You've been becoming more of a target to those heroes. They sent Hawks after you, the 4th top hero," I said, raising my voice a bit. "Did I get caught though?" "No," I said, as he put my head down in shame since I technically did just doubt my own mother. "Exactly. Your mama's not going to get caught anytime soon. So don't worry, Izuku," she said as she got up and stretched. She walked towards me while I continued to hang my head down in shame. She then lifted me up, forcing me to look at her and said, "Zuzu, don't ever doubt me. Also, meet me on the couch. We need to have a talk," she said sternly, which caused me to worry. In Midoriya's room, why did she say that so sternly? Am I in trouble for cleaning the beach? She didn't seem mad. Is she going to stop training me? Because it's too dangerous? Is she that mad at me for doubting her? Maybe she's going to criticize my pasta cooking skills. I was interrupted by my mom yelling, "You're mumbling again, Izuzu. Hurry up, we don't have all day." I quickly ran downstairs to the couch she was sitting on. "I can't believe you still mumble out loud, Zuzu. I thought it was just a nervous reaction." Anyways, let's get down to business. I sat down next to her and she looked at me with serious eyes. I was terrified. She took a deep breath and said, Zuzu, it's time we patrol the night together. As you said this morning, I am being hunted more often. I know this will put you at risk, so I got you a costume already, even a mask with a voice changer. Sweet, right? I didn't know what to say. I was excited and nervous at the same time. She continued, the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to get caught all of a sudden and leave you without knowing how to patrol whatsoever. So no matter what you say, you're coming tonight. At 6 p.m., your costume. It's in your closet already. So yes, that means no training today. You ready? I was shocked but more excited and said, ready as I'll ever be, Mom, or should I say, Moon? I said, grinning. Good. I have a feeling it's going to be a hectic night, Izuku. Or should I say, reject. Oh, in case you didn't know what Izuku and Inko would look like, look at the photo near the beginning. Okay, there's a photo near the beginning and I'm going to look at it and you guys won't look at it because, I'm too lazy to put the picture in. Anyways, continuing on the story, chapter 3, Patrol. Okay, so Midoriya's costume is basically just a mask, voice changer, and a really thick battle-like hoodie. It's made out of a thick material that I'm pretty sure won't rip, right? And that's pretty much it. He has combat boots and all that other stuff. 7 hours later, it'd be 12 a.m. I'm a bit worried for tonight. Going on patrol for the first time was a big deal. Okay, maybe I was being a bit overdramatic, but still, I'm nervous, Midoriya thought. Midoriya decided to go out and train even though he didn't have to. He couldn't handle being cooped up in his room, waiting for the time to come, so he wanted to go to the beach and train some random skills in order to get his mind off of it. I was running to the beach when I bumped into someone in a hoodie. I said, my bad. Sorry. I turned to see who it was and I saw none other than Katsuki Bakugo. I panicked a bit, then tried to continue to run off when he grabbed my arm. Deku, you nerd! What are you doing here? Yep, still the same Kachan, thought Midoriya. Please stop yelling. I'm going somewhere. It's really none of your concern, Kachan. Bakugo looked taken aback by Midoriya's sudden change in personality, which angered Bakugo even more. After all, they used to be childhood friends. Flashback to 1 year ago. Also, warning for a bit of bullying. The class roared after Bakugo's rude comment saying, you all will probably end up with some lame hero ass being their sidekick, while I become the #1 hero. Bakugo was impressed with himself as he was the only one able to attend UA, the best hero school in all of Japan. Or so he thought. Midoriya, you're also going to be attending UA, correct? Deku! Attending UA? Funny joke, teacher. You can't be. A quirkless hero? Huh, that's never been heard of, Bakugo said. The whole class started to laugh at Midoriya, agreeing with Bakugo. Yeah, I'll be attending UA, Bakugo. I'll be a pro hero. To which Bakugo would glare at him at the thought and then shoot an explosion at him. The bell rang and Midoriya was going to grab his notebook when Bakugo suddenly took it. What's in here, he said while opening the notebook. Midoriya got up, tried to grab it, but Bakugo simply put his hand out and blasted Midoriya, sending him towards the wall. I hate this powerful quirk. Explosion stopped Midoriya. He studied his quirk and many of his other classmates' quirk. Is that you, Bakugo? What is this, some kind of analysis of him? Wait, is that our other classmates? Said Bakugo's friend. Bakugo didn't really consider people friends. He was just popular and gained them naturally. What a nerd, right, Bakugo? Got that right, dipshit. Bakugo said as he blasted the notebook towards the wall. You can be a hero, Midoriya. Try becoming a police officer or something realistic for your kind. If that isn't good enough, go take a swan dive off the building and hope for a better quirk in your next life. With that, they left, and we would then jump back to present time. Bakugo was about to yell at Midoriya when a red-headed and yellow-headed male, possibly friend, came and calmed Bakugo down. Midoriya just stood there checking the time. It was 3 p.m. He only had 3 hours till patrol. He looked up and was about to walk away when the yellow-headed male said, Yo, who are you? Didn't know Bakugo had childhood friends. The yellow-headed male said while elbowing Bakugo a bit. Midoriya stayed silent. He isn't my friend. We just know each other. Bakugo shouted at his 2 friends who laughed it off. I better get going. Sorry for bumping into you, Bakugo. I hope we don't run into each other again, honestly. With that, Midoriya left Bakugo and his friends in shock. He had trained at the beach for 2 hours, making it home at 5 p.m., an hour before the big event of the day, patrolling. He put his costume on and he then met his mother in the kitchen, and they both ate. Izuku, When we're both on patrol, we need to be alert at all times. You will refer to me by my Vigilante name and I'll do the same for you. If they find out we are related by blood, or if someone slips up a name, we're screwed. Understand? Understand, Mom. Good. Inko reached into a bag and pulled out a mask and said, put it on. It'll cover your face. I even added in a voice changer. Inko said with a wink. Sweet, Midoriya said. He put it on and said, hello? His voice seemed deeper. Whoa, this is cool. Thanks, Mom. The voice changer would switch. Ready, Reject? Inko said. Of course I am, Moon. In an alley. Okay, Reject, go to that roof. I'll go to the one across, Inko said. We'll point to the roof that Midoriya was going to go to. Go. Got it. Midoriya got on the roof and heard his phone buzz. Inko texted him. Not fast enough. Izuku replied, whatever, lol. And with that, Midoriya put his phone away, giggling a bit from the small conversation. He heard her scream and he looked at his mom, who motioned for him to go. He was going to do this by himself. Midoriya quickly ran to the alley where the incident was happening, and it was a mother and possibly her daughter being robbed. Midoriya ran towards the man and he didn't seem to notice Midoriya till the last second. Midoriya jabbed the man in the throat and kicked the stomach. Immediately, he went unconscious. Midoriya then turned to the mother and little girl and said, you guys hurt? They shook their heads no, and he gave them a thumbs up and said, if you guys have a phone, can you call the cops telling them this location? They did as Midoriya said. Midoriya grabbed the pen out of his pocket and wrote, Reject was here, on the unconscious man's forehead, and he then heard silence and climbed on the side of the building before looking at his mother and possible daughter and giving them a two-fingered salute and then disappearing. He went back to his roof, seeing if his mom wasn't there, and she was probably dealing with her own trouble. That's when he heard a snap behind him. He got up and turned around, dodging an attack by sidestepping it. He grabbed the person's arm and kicked the person's legs out from under them. The person began landing on their face. Midoriya then pressed the arm against the person's back, about to break it. It's just me, Reject. Calm down before you break my arm, Inko said. Midoriya got off of Inko and said, sorry, Moon. Next time don't scare me. Maybe, Midoriya said with a smirk, which in turn got Inko to roll her eyes. I'm tired. I took out 3 people, Inko said. How about you, Reject? I took down one robber, Midoriya said, a bit annoyed that he was smacked on the back of the head. Ow! What was that for, Moon? Inko laughed at Midoriya. They then both heard a noise behind them. They turned around, quickly getting into a fighting stance to see pro hero Racerhead, Present Mike, and even Midnight. Shit, Inko and Midoriya said in unison. As from here, they both gotta fight. Chapter 4. Hunted. 1 week ago at UA. I wonder why that rat called this meeting. What is it going to be about? Probably something boring. I just want to sleep, Aizawa thought, as he walked over to Principal Nezu's office. Aizawa opened the door to see Neze, Midnight, and Present Mike. Aizawa really hates them. They're way too loud. Nice to see you can make it, Eraserhead. Sit, please. We need to talk, Neze said sternly. What's so important that you had to call me in during class, Neze? Aizawa said, annoyed. I'll get to the point. Moon, the upcoming Vigilante. I want you 3 to capture her. She's been around for way too long. 3 years to be exact. I've been studying her schedule, and she goes patrolling from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m., Neze said. I have a class to teach, Neze. Midnight and Present Mike have other things to do. We don't have time for Moon. Assign someone else to do it, Aizawa said. Please, Eraserhead. You 2 also. She really does interest me. I feel there's more to her and she could be useful. We know she's intelligent. She's hacked lots of our sites. Her quirk is also something we could use. Telekinesis. She has a quirk? The 3 teachers said in unison. Yeah, she does, but she doesn't use it on patrol. The only reason we now know is because she ran into a pro hero Hawk and used it to escape, Neze said. I know you 3 are just as interested as I am in finding out her identity. Aizawa, you quit the pursuit on her a year ago. Recently, she hasn't been very persistent with her patrolling, so she could have gone injured. Let's use that to our advantage and capture her once and for all, Neze said. We're in, Present Mike and Midnight said in unison. What about Class 1A? What'll they do while I'm out? Aizawa said. All Might to teach them. I'm sure he wouldn't mind, Neze said. Fine, I'm in, Aizawa said. Next week we'll get her, Neze said. Present time. At the rooftop, Midoriya would be terrified and Inko was also scared, not for herself, but for Midoriya. Scatter, Inko said. Midoriya and Inko jumped and dodged the Eraserhead's capture weapon. They then ran in opposite directions. Shit, Midnight. Mike, go for Moon. I'll take the other one, Eraserhead said while chasing Midoriya. Midoriya had fast reflexes. He knew he could easily avoid Eraserhead's capture weapon. His quirk was also useless on Midoriya. He raised quirks which Midoriya didn't have. He was just worried for his mom since he didn't know about the other quirks. Reject, you okay? Can you hear me? Midoriya heard his mom in his earpiece. Yeah, I can hear you. Are you okay? Midoriya said. Yeah, just keep run. Yeah. Midoriya tripped because of the sudden loud sound and he got up to run again when Eraserhead's capture weapon got a hold of his leg. He knew he couldn't run, so he ran towards Eraserhead ready to fight. Eraserhead ran towards Midoriya and threw a punch, which Midoriya easily sidestepped and was able to kick Eraser in the stomach, sending him flying. The capture weapon on Midoriya's leg loosened a bit, so he slipped out of it before realizing that he had knocked Eraserhead out. He walked towards Eraserhead, and Eraserhead was honestly one of Midoriya's favorite heroes now. Midoriya saw that he had an earpiece put in his ear, only to hear, Aizawa, are you okay? We got Moon. Did you get the other one? Midoriya threw the earpiece on the ground, shattering it. He didn't hesitate to run towards the direction his mom went. No, please not her, not my mom, Midoriya whispered to himself. He jumped roof to roof to hear a bit of the communication in the alley. He looked down to see his mom waking up and she was handcuffed. She was bleeding from her ears. Midoriya, not thinking, jumped down and kicked Midnight from under her feet. She fell on her back. Yeah! President Mike must have overused his quirk on Midoriya since he immediately fell after his attack. Midoriya was sent flying into a building due to the attack, though he held his ears which were now bleeding. He was determined to get his mom back. Midoriya's ears were ringing, but he didn't care. He ran towards Midnight again, who was standing again, and she held his mom. He jabbed her on the side and then on the back of the neck, which made her fall, slightly paralyzing her. Midoriya went to grab his mom only to be caught by the arm by Eraserhead's weapon. Eraserhead pulled Midoriya toward him and was about to punch him when Inko used telekinesis to hit Eraserhead on the back of the head with a metal pole, which made him go completely unconscious. Run, Reject! Don't turn back! Train hard! Don't give up! Inko said right before Midnight used her quirk, which made pink gas come from her body, causing Midoriya's mom to collapse. Midoriya was about to run towards his mom when he heard sirens. He saw the red and blue and he took his mom's advice and ran as hard as he could. He was crying. He had just abandoned his own mother. The next day, Inko Midoriya, or known as Moon the Vigilante, had been captured by Midnight, President Mike, and Eraserhead after 3 years, having an accomplice known as Reject, known as Izuku Midoriya, due to a blood test and interrogation. If you see Izuku Midoriya, turn him in immediately. He is quirkless, so it should be easy. That's all for tonight. That's what the news said yesterday. They had uncovered Midoriya's identity and caught his mom. He now lived in an abandoned building since his house was being searched, and he trained harder than ever before, patrolled every night, and being hunted every single night. He was going to prove to the world that just because he was quirkless, that doesn't mean he's weak. That's the reason he started all of this anyways. He was going to do it for his mom, who believed in him since day one, and to prove All Might wrong. Before the house was searched, he took important things like money and his notebook and his mom's diary. He read through it every night, gaining intelligence and information on heroes. He was going to be just like Moon, maybe even better. Eraserhead's quirk, Erasure. He can, okay, yeah, you guys know all of this stuff. Anyways, jumping into chapter 5, Interrogation. The cell room. Same day they captured Inko. Inko was sitting in her cell room as she had quirk restraints on, so she couldn't use her quirk. Inko was worried, not for herself of course, but for Midoriya. She heard her cell door open and she looked up to see Eraserhead. Come on, we don't have all day, Moon. I'm tired. Inko got up silently and Eraserhead led her to Tsukachi's interrogation room, which Tsukachi and Neze would be there, and Neze would say, "Sit please, Moon. I have plenty of questions to ask," said Tsukachi. Inko cooperated while Eraserhead went to the other side of the room. "I'll be asking you questions. You will answer," said Tsukachi. That one police guy, right? Inko cooperated while Eraserhead went to the other side of the room. Oh, I already read that. She just nodded while piercing Tsukachi with her gaze. She hated his quirk. Tsukachi was a literal lie detector. "So you're Moon, correct?" "Yes," Inko responded. "True. Have you killed anyone?" "No." "True. Is your name by any chance Inko?" Inko stayed silent. "Answer the question. Make this easier on yourself," Tsukachi said. "Yes. True. So you have a son named Izuku Midoriya. Is he possibly the vigilante that escaped Reject?" "No." "Lie." Tsukachi got up from his seat and turned to Neze. we're done here. Send an announcement to the news reporter saying to search for Reject or Izuku Midoriya. Smash. Tsukachi immediately turned his back to Incho, who smashed the handcuffs and pointed to Tsukachi from the other side of the glass. Eraser had erased her quirk. That's my son. He won't get caught by you heroes. If anything, you just gave him more of a reason to get stronger, Inko said. He's quirkless, isn't he? I doubt he'll put up a good fight, Tsukachi said. People like you are the reason he stopped wanting to be a hero, Inko yelled while being dragged back to her cell. Silence as they watched her being dragged out. Don't underestimate that kid, Tsukachi. He was able to knock me out and paralyze Midnight. Just because someone doesn't have a quirk doesn't mean they're weak, Aizawa said as he walked out of the room. 1 year later would have passed, and from Midoriya's POV, catch me if you can, old man, I said while climbing the side of a building, teasing the villain by holding a bag of money which the villain had just stolen from the bank. I got bored and knocked him out swiftly, handcuffing the man and doing my signature, which was writing on villain's forehead. Reject was here. I reported my location to the authorities and was about to run off when I remembered the bag in my hand. Shit, I have to give this back. This is gonna be rough. I thought as I looked back at the bank, which was now flooded with pro heroes. Even Tsukachi was there, examining the villain. I then walked casually towards the bank saying, Yo, heroes, here's the bag of money. Might as well steal it since you all probably only became heroes for the money of fame, I said, quite annoyed as I threw the bag at their feet. They didn't try to say anything to me because I was probably right. Quickly, I ran into the shadows before anything bad could happen. I've become the most well-known vigilante in Japan. In just a year, many heroes were terrified of me even though I never went after heroes. Probably just terrified by the riots of my existence. Many quirkless people have been standing up for themselves after hearing about how I was quirkless and a strong vigilante. The quirkless began fighting against the quirk beings who looked down upon them, and they started riots. I even joined them. I like to call it the quirkless era. As I was walking down an alley, I heard something or someone. I hid behind a trash can and let me tell you, that trash can stunk. I heard a very raspy voice say, We're going to be attacking USJ tomorrow. Would you like to join us? I recognized that voice. Shigaraki, part of the League of Villains. Let's just say I know him because I had a little run-in with him. A flashback to 4 months ago, in an alleyway. Midoriya was walking in the alleyway heading home to the abandoned building he lived in when he heard something behind him. A portal opened and out came a man with chapped lips and blue hair. I had to resist asking if I could help him by buying him chapstick. You're the Vigilante Reject, right? Or Midoriya? The blue-haired male said in a raspy voice. Yeah, now get to the point. I know you didn't come through a portal just to say hi to me, I said, masking my slight fear, since portals were a very rare quirk. My name is Tomura Shigaraki, leader of the League of Villains. League of Villains? You do understand that I capture guys like you and turn them in, correct? Midoriya said, a bit dumbstruck. Yeah, but you're not a hero. You're a vigilante. Your mother also won, but she was caught by those heroes, wasn't she? Join us. We'll make them pay for the things that they did. Together. Listen, no hard feelings, but I don't want to be a villain, nor work with one. I'm a solo team. I'll do what I want to do alone, and thanks for the offer, but I'm gonna have to ask you to go through the portal you came from. I'll let you off easy, Shigaraki said. I was properly annoyed. It's 3 a.m., which meant patrol was over, but I wouldn't hesitate to add a few more minutes to my patrol hours just for him. Listen, kid, if you don't join, I'll have to kill you, because I didn't come out for nothing, Shigaraki said, annoyed as well. Looks like we'll have to fight then, I said, getting into a stance. Shigaraki seemed shocked but still charged me, reaching for me. I'm assuming something happens when you touch me, huh? I said while sidestepping him and undercutting him. He flew backwards, grabbing his jaw, clearly upset. I then grabbed the trash bag and threw it at him. He grabbed it, and when he did, the whole thing disintegrated. Nice quirk, Shiggy, I said while giggling. He then said, Kurigiri, get me out of here. I'm done with this kid. A few seconds later, the same portal from earlier opened, and Shigaraki disappeared. Shigaraki, you crusty B-word, I said while heading home. Present time, and Midoriya's POV. I peeked around the trash can just enough to see 2 villains, Shigaraki and some random villain. I knew I should stop them. When I was about to intervene, I heard the villain say, Yes, I would like to attend. Good. Walk through this portal with me and we'll include you in the attack tomorrow, Shigaraki said. They left. I was a bit bummed I didn't capture them. I just made my way back to the rooftop I usually sit on during patrol since I had only a few hours left. USJ, huh? Wait, isn't that a place where UA students train? Wait, Bakugo, he attends UA. Damn, I need to stop this, Midoriya thought as he ran home. Chapter 6, USJ. Midoriya's house. Midoriya ran inside the abandoned house he lived in and quickly headed straight to his room, grabbing his laptop. He opened it and searched UAHeroSchoolOfficial.com. Not a real site, by the way. He then went to the administration searching for a specific teacher. He had been on his website plenty of times before, only to see the students in each class, and also looking into the hero on school campus. Bingo, Midoriya said as he clicked on Shoto Aizawa, or known as Eraserhead, teacher of Class 1A. He was the only hero he knew that teaches at UA. He got his email and sent him a message with his own fake email. I know you're planning on going to the USJ today. I was walking in an alley and I overheard a conversation between two villains, saying they plan to attack the USJ. So please, either don't go or be prepared. Yours truly, Reject. I hope he reads that soon, Midoriya thought. Ding. Oh, okay. I know I said soon, but not this soon, Midoriya thought. He looked at the message that was sent. Reject. I don't really know if that's you, but if it is, I'm positive that those villains won't be able to get in here. We have a strong security system The students will be fine. I will have to block this email since I don't want any spams in case you aren't, Reject. Yours not so truly, Eraserhead. No, Midoriya thought. He knew that those villains would be able to get in with Kurogiri. Damn it, Midoriya shouted as he slammed his laptop shut. Midoriya grabbed his phone to look at the time. It was 4 a.m. What is a UA teacher doing up at 4 a.m., Midoriya thought. Midoriya got up from his desk and went to bed, and just as he laid there, he would think to himself, should I just stay out of it? I mean, I did try to warn them. No, I should go help, and since I know what's happening, but I'll be in lots of trouble if I get cornered. What if I'm wrong and the security is good enough? How will I get in? Bakugo will be there. What if he sees me? What'll he think? Midoriya slapped his hand over his mouth. I'm muttering out loud again. An old habit, Midoriya thought. Midoriya then slowly went to sleep, not even bothering to change out of his Vigilante outfit. 8 hours later, Midoriya woke up expecting it to be 6 a.m., but he looked at the clock and it was 12. I slept in. Well, at least I got some sleep. Wait, USJ, Midoriya thought, as he quickly ran out of his home towards the USJ. He jumped from roof to roof until he found the USJ, and he was on the glass part looking at the USJ downwards. He was relieved to see that nobody was there yet. What if I'm late? Thought Midoriya. Just then, the USJ doors opened to reveal Class 1A, Pro Hero 13, and Eraserhead. They looked as if they were talking until a portal appeared in the middle of the USJ. I knew it, Midoriya thought, as he broke the glass and jumped into the USJ, landing on the ground. He ran towards the center of the USJ where Eraserhead already was. I tried to warn you just to stay away, Midoriya yelled at Eraserhead, as Midoriya was now taking on groups of criminals alongside with Eraserhead. Reject! What in the world are you doing here? Shigaraki screamed. Stopping you. Isn't that obvious? Shigaraki then laughed. You idiot. I didn't really want to have to hurt you. I was hoping to have some sort of truce, really. Midoriya took out the rest of the criminals he was fighting and looked at Shigaraki. Shiggy, I would have never teamed up with you. Sorry, but you act like more of a child than me. With that, Shigaraki told something to his buddy Kurogiri, and he opened a portal, which then a bird-looking thing came out. Disturbing, really. Ew, Midoriya said while fake gagging. Nomu, kill him, Shigaraki said in a monotone voice while pointing at Midoriya. Just then, Midoriya jumped, avoiding what could have been a fatal attack. Midoriya had practiced his speed often. This was what he trained for. Midoriya was quick on his feet. As soon as he landed, he pulled a knife out and he charged the Nomu, which ran past him and towards Eraserhead. Midoriya was going to go help Eraserhead when Shigaraki charged Midoriya. Midoriya dodged, but not in time. Shigaraki had grabbed his arm, disintegrating his skin, which was painful. Midoriya then punched Shigaraki with his good hand, sending him flying. He looked over towards Eraserhead, who was beaten up badly by the Nomu, and Midoriya took the opportunity of the Nomu being distracted to stab it in the exposed brain area, which caused it to go limp. Cheater! Cheater! Shigaraki yelled like a child. Midoriya saw 1A students and grabbed Eraserhead, who was unconscious, and went towards them. It was some frog girl and grape dude. He simply put Eraserhead down in front of them, saying, "Take him somewhere he can be treated. Those injuries can definitely be fatal if not treated." So Midoriya was then punched and sent crashing into a wall, his ears ringing, but he could make out Shigaraki laughing. Midoriya coughed up blood as his vision would become blurry, but he refused to give up. He looked up and saw the Nomu standing right in front of him, ready to deal a fatal blow, which Midoriya knew he couldn't dodge in his condition. Is this really how it's going to end? Midoriya thought. "I am here!" "All Might," Midoriya said. In the blink of an eye, Midoriya wasn't in front of the Nomu. He was in All Might's arm. "Reject, I underestimated you. Stay put, you're in fatal condition," All Might said as he put Midoriya on the floor and ran into the battle with the Nomu. Midoriya, being stubborn, didn't listen to All Might. He got up and looked to see the battle with All Might. All Might was halfway in the portal. He knew if Kurogiri closed that portal on All Might, he'd be a goner for sure. Midoriya, without thinking, went to attack Kurogiri, going to stab the metal part of him. Boom! Kachan! Midoriya thought, as Bakugo slightly blasted Midoriya away. "Move, you vigilante!" "Nice to see you too, Kachan," Midoriya said sarcastically. The distraction was enough for All Might to get out of the portal. Midoriya and Bakugo glanced at each other, and Midoriya then heard footsteps behind him and looked to see a familiar spiky red-haired, a redhead and a white-collared hair student. "Thanks, but I had it under control," All Might said as he gave a thumbs towards Midoriya and Bakugo. Midoriya looked towards All Might and said, "Yeah, no you didn't," Midoriya said, giggling a bit, and Bakugo now had Kurogiri in his grip. "Such a shame you had to go and get yourself caught by a kid, Kurogiri. Well, at least you gave me an excuse to crush All Might's pride." "Nomu!" The Nomu charged Bakugo, Midoriya grabbing Bakugo's arm and got him out of the way, avoiding the attack. "I didn't need your help, you damn Deku!" Bakugo yelled. "Deku?" The red spiky-headed male said. "Yeah, okay, buddy. You would have been smashed to potatoes if I did nothing," Midoriya said. All Might then hit the Nomu, sending him to the center of the USJ. They fought, which obviously All Might ended up winning. But he seemed weaker. "Come at me with all you got, Shigaraki," All Might said. Midoriya could hear the concern in his voice. Shigaraki charged All Might and Midoriya went for Shigaraki and he kicked Shigaraki in the chest, sending him flying. "You damned kid, I'll kill you," Shigaraki said while standing up, getting ready to charge Midoriya, when multiple gunshots hit him. Kurogiri used his portals to protect Shigaraki and they escaped. "Thank you, Reject. You saved me," All Might said to Midoriya. "No, thank you for proving me wrong. I used to hate you since I thought you only became a hero for the fame. You proved me wrong today," Midoriya said. "So, for what it's worth, thanks, All Might." Home, after the USJ. USJ attacked by the League of Villains. They call themselves. Many lives were put in danger. Some were injured. Reject also spotted at the attack, badly injured, helping heroes. Confirmed by All Might and Eraserhead. Reject shortly after the battle fled the sea. Midoriya turned off the TV, sighed while looking down at the bruises on his chest and thinks, that was quite the battle. Still though, I have to patrol for the sake of others, Midoriya said as he got up and changed into his Vigilante outfit. By the power of All Might's strand of hair, we fast forward. Midoriya's point of view, patrolling. Someone's tailing me. I can feel it. They're fast too. I have to face them, Midoriya thought as he turned around and kicked the person in the stomach. They were stunned but charged Midoriya. "Now, Midnight!" That voice, Present Mike and Midnight. Crap, Midoriya thought as Present Mike punched Midoriya's bruise, causing him to cough up blood. No, damn it, I can't get caught, Midoriya thought as his vision became blurry. "Stay away," Midoriya yelled as he coughed up blood. "Calm down, Reject. We want to help you. We know you're injured. Let us help you," Present Mike shouted. All of a sudden, pink smoke filled the air. Everything went black. 1 week later, Midoriya woke up with a pain in his chest. He was in the hospital. His throat was dry and he was starving. He still had a Vigilante outfit on. How long have I been out? What'll happen since I was caught? Will my injuries have a bad impact on me? Midoriya thought as he stared at the light in the ceiling. Finally, he sat up and saw Neze. He knew who this was since he did go through their website often. "Awake, are you? Here, have some water. You're probably starving. I'll call a nurse to bring you something to eat. Oh, and you can take off the mask," Neze said. "Thanks," Midoriya said cautiously, taking the water from Neze, putting his mask down to drink it. "You look young. I didn't expect the Reject, the most known vigilante in Japan, to look so young, Neze said as he stared at the boy's features. A nurse then soon came in and gave Midoriya soup and some more water. So, Reject, or should I say Izuku? Midoriya's fine, Midoriya interrupted. Okay, Midoriya, just so you know, you're not in trouble. Get to the point. There's something you want to return for helping me, correct? Neze chuckled at Midoriya. Yes, Neze said. Just then, a guy who looked like a detective walked in. Hello, Izuku Midoriya. My name's Tsukachi. I'll be asking you a few questions if that's okay. Midoriya just nodded. Your name's Izuku Midoriya. Yes, Midoriya responded. True. You're 16. Yes, true. Neze looked shocked. Your mother's name is Inko Midoriya, or known as the Moon Vigilante. Yes, true. Okay, we're done here. Neze, do your thing. I best be going. Pleasure seeing you, Midoriya. Tsukachi then walked out. Go on with what you wanted from me, Neze, Midoriya said. I was going to ask you to become a pro hero, but I didn't know you were so young. That changes things, Neze said. Join Class 1A. I will give you a dorm at UA, and you can continue being a vigilante, without having to worry about heroes chasing you down. But Eraserhead will be joining you on patrol at all times. Midoriya just looked at Neze shocked. What if I refuse? You will be sent to juvie for causing injury to others and doing acts without heroic license. I know you wouldn't want that, Neze said. Midoriya sighed. Fine, I'll do it. At the UA gates. Shit, what did I get myself into? Midoriya thought as he looked at his uniform, then looked at his watch and thought, well, it's 4 a.m., 2 hours early, just what Neze wanted, so where is he? Midoriya thought. Midoriya, glad you could make it. Come inside, I'll show you the teachers and where your class is. Midoriya followed, and as soon as he entered, he saw pro heroes Eraserhead, Present Mike, and Midnight. Sorry about capturing you, little listener. We just wanted to help, Present Mike said. It's fine, Midoriya said. I thought you'd be as old as us, honestly. Sorry for using my gas on you. It's my quirk if you were wondering, Midnight said. Interesting, Midoriya thought. I'm your teacher. Now, I'm gonna go get some coffee, Eraserhead said. Just then, all three of them walked off. Neze shortly after led Midoriya to his office, where the deflated All Might sat. Oh my, All Might said as he switched into his muscular self. No, it's fine. I've seen it before, Midoriya said with a chuckle. What, you have? When? All Might said shockingly. You don't remember, do you? Midoriya said a bit sadly. Sorry, young Midoriya, I truly don't, All Might said, examining Midoriya's face. It's fine. It doesn't matter anyways. I proved you wrong, Midoriya said with a smirk. All Might questioned what he said a bit and then remembered. I'm so sorry, young Midoriya. I was truly an idiot back then. Please accept my apology, All Might said in a bowing position. Stand up, All Might. I have to thank you. You're the reason I trained harder to be stronger. You motivated me, even if it was in a harsh way of doing so, Midoriya said as All Might stood up. Ring ring. That's the bell for class. You'd better get there quickly. Aizawa usually runs late to class, so if you run fast enough, you'll make it before him, Neze said. Midoriya ran out quickly. It's the last one on the left, Neze yelled to Midoriya down the hall. 1A, 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 1A. There it is, Midoriya thought as he reached the door. Aizawa was just reaching the class door. Stand out here, I'll call you in, Aizawa said as he walked in. Midoriya couldn't hear what he was saying inside, but soon enough he heard, Come in, Aizawa yelled. This is it, Class 1A. Here I come. Class 1A. Midoriya stepped inside the classroom, seeing familiar and unfamiliar faces. Introduce yourself, then sit behind Bakugo. You already know who he is, Aizawa said. My name is Izuku Midoriya, or known as Reject, the Vigilante. I'm Quirkless. Some of you saw me at the USJ. I don't plan on being friends with anyone, Midoriya said as he moved towards a seat, ignoring the glares from the other students. Anyways, you guys should have started interning with the pro heroes you choose. Reject, you're with me, interning. You don't really have a choice. Midoriya just sighed and laid his head down on the desk and slowly fall asleep. Ring. The bell woke Midoriya up. He knew this was the lunch bell, so he went up, got his lunch, and sat down at some empty table. Finally, some peace, Midoriya thought. Hey, you're that new kid in Class 1A. Midoriya, right? Or Reject. How'd someone without a quirk get in the school? No peace, Midoriya thought as he sighed and turned to look at the student who had blue eyes and blonde hair. Definitely not someone in my class, Midoriya thought. Listen, bud, I don't know who you think you are or to come up to me, but just go bother someone else, please. For your sake, Midoriya said. Class 1A student threatening me? Hear that, everyone? This student in Class 1A just threatened me, the student yelled as he stood up on his stool, pointing at Midoriya. It was a warning, Midoriya said, as he kicked the stool the student was standing on, causing him to fall on his back. What the student said, standing up and charging Midoriya. He threw a punch, which Midoriya easily sidestepped. He punched the student in the stomach, which caused the student to fall on the ground, coughing. Midoriya looked around to see everyone staring at the scene. Then a familiar capture weapon wrapped around Midoriya's torso and arms. Seriously? It's only been a few hours. Let's just go to the principal. Nezu's office. He fought Monoma, Aizawa said, as he opened the door to Nezu's office. Well, this Monoma totally deserved it, Midoriya said. Nezu sighed. Who threw the first punch? I mean, I did kick the chair that he was standing on. Other than that, he hit first, Midoriya said with a smirk. No patrolling for you tonight. What? Why not give me detention or something, Midoriya yelled. What's your tone problem, child? Besides, it's quite obvious you wouldn't care about detention, Aizawa said. You need to find your dorm and unpack your stuff. Besides, Aizawa's patrolling tonight, so don't worry, Nezu said calmly. Midoriya sighed. You guys should go. It's settled. No patrolling for you, Nezu said, waving the two off. With that, Midoriya and Aizawa walked out of the office, heading towards the classroom. You know, you should try and make friends. It'll benefit you. Trust me, Aizawa said. Silence. Aizawa and Midoriya were approaching the class door. No, Midoriya said, answering Aizawa as he walked into the class. Midoriya was pretty bored, so he started playing with his pencil mid-class when someone slammed their hand on his desk. Bakugo had done it. He looked around to see others walking towards his desk. Go away, Midoriya said, clearly annoyed. Aizawa sensei told us to come and get you and greet you, Ribbit, the frog girl from the USJ said to Midoriya. Midoriya sighed. Okay, one at a time. Tell me your name and your quirk. My name is Tenya Ida. My name is Kirishima. My name is Lightning. These are the two that were with Bakugo that one time, Midoriya thought. I believe we've met. You probably don't remember since it was a while back. We do, they said in unison. The rest of the students then introduced themselves, and overall it wasn't as bad as he thought. Ring. Midoriya, stay here, Aizawa said. Midoriya huffed but cooperated. Once all the students left, Aizawa walked over to Midoriya's desk. Listen, Midoriya, I understand it's pretty difficult, but it's really not that bad. I enjoyed it, Midoriya interrupted. Show me where my dorm is so I can unpack my stuff, Midoriya said. They both walked out. Fast forward, because I can. Midoriya was now in his dorm. Everything was unpacked. He was annoyed and he had nothing to do. Maybe I should just go. I mean, how much trouble can I really get in? Everyone's at interns. I can't possibly get caught, Midoriya thought as he stared at his Vigilante outfit. F it, Midoriya said with a smirk as he put his Vigilante outfit on and snuck out. In an alleyway, easy enough. Now, what roof to sit on? Midoriya stopped and listened. He heard grunting in an alleyway nearby. He looked around the corner into the alleyway where he heard the sound. Hero Killer and Tenya Ida. Crap, he's in danger. I have to help, but I need backup. Midoriya quickly picked up his phone and texted the first phone number, Shoto Todoroki. He had sent him his location along with, I need backup. Please come. Midoriya put his phone in his pocket and charged the Hero Killer. Trouble, Chapter 9. Alleyway with the Hero Killer, Stain, and Tenya Ida. From Midoriya's point of view, I charged the Hero Killer, jumping from wall to wall, but he noticed me. But by then it was too late. I kicked him off Ida, who was stabbed in the shoulder. You okay? Have any idea what this guy's quirk is? I asked Ida. Why are you here, Midoriya? This is none of your business, Ida said. That's not what I asked, Engine Boy, I yelled. Reject. He's right. You really shouldn't get involved. These are fake heroes. Unless you want to die with them, I suggest you leave. Hero Killer said as he stood up. No can do, I said. Just know, I warned you. Hero Killer said as he threw a knife towards me. I was able to dodge it, but he had even more knives. This went on for a while me dodging knives and Ida screaming at me to leave. Then he hit me. The knife grazed me, but it did indeed draw blood. Hero Killer jumped over me, grabbed the knife, and just as he gazed on me, he licked the blood, making me collapse. What's happening? I can't move. Must be his quirk, I thought as I watched Hero Killer walk towards Ida. Now you can watch as I slowly kill these fake heroes. Then, you're next. Hero Killer said as he was about to stab Ida once again. Fight back, Ida, I yelled. Just then, flames. Shoto Todoroki. You should have been more specific on how urgent this was. I almost didn't come in time, Shoto said. No, why are you both here? This isn't how it was supposed to go. You're going to get hurt, Ida screamed. Stand up if you don't want us to get hurt so bad, Shoto said. That seemed to shut Ida up. Don't let this guy draw your blood. He can paralyze someone by licking it. I'm not sure how long it'll last, I said to Shoto. Thanks for the... Shoto was then grazed by a knife on his fireside. The one thing I tell you not to do, I thought, as Hero Killer moved toward Shoto, but he was quick and lit his flames. I then all of a sudden felt my legs again. His quirk. I believe it has to do with your blood type, I said as I stood up. Correct, Hero Killer said as he ran past me at the speed of light toward Shoto with a katana-like weapon, and he was about to hit him when Ida kicked him back to where I was. Midoriya! Shoto yelled as a warning as he shot flames towards me and the Hero Killer. I dodged the flames, but so did the Hero Killer. We both fought hand to hand for a while until he took a knife and slashed my back unexpectedly. Then shortly after paralyzing me, that's gonna leave a mark. I was becoming dizzy, losing blood at a rapid speed, and I saw Ida throw knives into his shoulder by protecting Shoto. Shoto was shouting something towards me, but I couldn't hear a word with the loud ringing in my ears. I can't let them die. I won't, I thought as I stood up. I took advantage of the blind spot Hero Killer had from behind, and I kicked the man with all I had, hitting his head at the wall and making him fall unconscious. Shoto and Ida came running towards me. My ears stopped ringing and I felt Shoto touch my back where the wound was beginning to form. Freeze it, but I pushed him away. Stop. I'm gonna freeze your wound so you don't lose any more blood. Ida, hold him, Shoto said. I struggled against Ida, but eventually Shoto froze my back. We were walking out the alley when I saw a bunch of pro heroes walking towards us. Please don't tell them I was here. Keep this a secret. I winked at Ida and Shoto and ran. I heard the protests as I ran, but I knew if I got caught I would be in lots of trouble. Midoriya successfully made it back to his dorm room. He changed out of his Vigilante outfit, took a shower, and stitched his wound. He got injured a bunch when he first started out as a Vigilante, so he knew how to do it properly. I seriously hope those two don't rat me out, Midoriya thought, as he drifted asleep. The sound of Midoriya's door banging woke him up with a jolt. He must have gotten up so fast because he felt his wound reopen. Shit, you gotta be kidding me, Midoriya thought. Give me a minute, Midoriya yelled as he bandaged his wound quickly and opened the door. Tenya Ida stood at the door along with Shoto Todoroki. Midoriya looked at his watch and it was an hour before school was meant to start. Midoriya sighed. Come in. So about yesterday. I'm sorry you two had to get involved, Ida said, as he put his head down in shame. I waved his apology off. We didn't say you were involved if you were wondering, but two pro heroes did see you leave the scene. Fortunately, we weren't able to identify you. Unfortunately, Sukachi asked if we knew who you were, and we said no, but knowing his quirk, he probably knew we lied, Shoto said. That's not good. I'll figure it out. Thanks. I owe you guys. How's your wound, Ida said. It's alright. I may or may not have reopened the wound, but I can just restitch it, if you both wouldn't mind leaving so I can do that. They both nodded and walked out the door. See you in class, Midoriya. Again, thank you, Ida said. Midoriya undid the bandages and restitched his wound, changed into his uniform and headed to class. Midoriya POV. I walked into class and classmates were surrounding Shoto and Ida at their desk, asking them questions. Was the Hero Killer hard to fight? Who was the person who helped you guys? How bad were your injuries? Good luck to them, I thought, as I sat down in my seat. Aizawa walked in shortly after and scared everyone into sitting in their seats. All day, all I heard was this Hero Killer this, Hero Killer that. It was obnoxious. Ring. Yes, Midoriya thought as he grabbed his bag. Midoriya, report to Principal Neze's office with me. Oh crap, I thought as I exited the classroom with Aizawa walking behind me towards Nezu's office. On the way there, I saw Shoto and Ida. I gave them a glare. Aizawa indeed noticed this, but the two just looked confused and concerned. Maybe they didn't do it, I thought. Me and Aizawa reached Nezu's door. I opened it to see Sukachi and Neze. This is bad, I thought. Sit, Midoriya. We have a lot to discuss. Midoriya's POV. I sat in the chair. Aizawa stood behind me as I sat, which made me a bit uncomfortable, but I believe I have no say in what he does. So what's going on? Did I do something? I said as calmly as I could. They all just stared at me. Awkward, I thought. They all just stared at me in silence. Okay, Midoriya, glad to see you again. If you've forgotten, I am Detective Sukachi. I'm going to be asking you a few questions. I nod. Happy he broke the painfully long silence. You know about the event at Hosu? Yes, Sukachi said. Of course, I answered. True. Midoriya, were you in your dorm at the time? No. Where were you then? Tsukachi said in a stern voice. Silence. Midoriya, we need you to answer. Where were you? Aizawa said as he grabbed my shoulders. Don't touch me, I said, as I pushed both hands off my shoulder. Aizawa then wrapped his capture weapon around me, strapping me to his chair. Too tight, damn it. Can't breathe, I thought as I struggled. Midoriya, last time I asked you, where were you during the time? Tsukachi said. My vision was becoming blurry. I looked down. I fought alongside Ida and Shoto. True. Tsukachi nodded his head towards Aizawa and he let me go. I took a deep breath before looking up to see Neze, who shook his head in disapproval. Listen, Midoriya, I wasn't going to send you to this training camp we have coming up in about a month. Sorry in advance, but now you will be going. Are you kidding me? A dumb camp? I thought as I stood up and left the room, slamming the door. Stupid rat thing. Students. Dumb training camp. Midoriya thought as he tossed the ball in the air while laying in his bed. Then a knock at his door. Go away, I'm not here. Midoriya, open the door. It's me. Midoriya walked to the door and opened it. Shoto Todoroki stood there. What? Midoriya said. You looked pretty mad when I saw you walk out of Nezu's office. I'm assuming he found out. I just came to check on you, Shoto said. This kind of made Midoriya happy, but he pushed the feelings aside and slammed the door in Shoto's face. If that's all, leave, Midoriya said as he heard Shoto's footsteps walk away. I guess I was a bit harsh. Oh well, Midoriya thought as he drifted asleep. Ring, ring, ring. Midoriya slammed his alarm, shattering it to pieces. Great, Midoriya thought, as he quickly picked up bits of the alarm, changed into his uniform and went to class. Midoriya opened the door to his class. Hello, Midoriya, correct? Some brown-haired girl said. Yeah, that's me. You're Ochako or Araka, Midoriya said, as he walked to his desk, the girl following him. The girl nodded. Her quirk is anti-gravity, able to touch someone or something and make it float. Interesting, Midoriya thought as he stared at the girl. He must have been staring too long since she started becoming red. My bad, I zoned out, Midoriya thought as he looked away. It's fine, really, Araka said. Then she went towards her desk and waved. Hope to talk to you more. Sure, Midoriya said. Then he felt poking from behind him. He turned around. Mineta, what do you want? Midoriya had already taken a disliking to this one. He was a total perv. Yo, Midoriya, how do you keep getting all the girls? Teach me your ways, Mineta whispered to Midoriya. I don't know. Maybe try being a decent human being for once, Midoriya said. With that, Mineta went back to his seat. Balls on his head that are very sticky can be useful if used correctly, Midoriya thought. Then Aizawa walked in and the class started. Time skip. Ring. Finally. Lunch, Midoriya thought, as he made his way there, gaining a few glares. The usual. He was making his way to a seat where he sat by himself. Midoriya, sit with us, Araka yelled. Midoriya rolled his eyes, but he went to sit down next to Ida across from Araka. He ate in silence. He felt eyes staring at him, so he looked up to see Araka staring him down. He raised an eyebrow towards her and she went red. Sorry, I must be sick, Araka said while fake coughing. Okay, Midoriya said as he went back to eating his food. Araka, if you're sick, you should go to Recovery Girl and leave the school immediately. We wouldn't want you to get anyone sick, Ida said, making some weird hand motion. No, I'm fine, Araka said. So Midoriya, did you mean what you said when you first came into our class? Shoto suddenly, oh my bad, that wasn't Araka, that was Shoto. Shoto suddenly said, making Midoriya jump. You were so quiet. I didn't know you were here. My bad. Also, remind me what I said. You said you didn't want to make friends, is that true? Araka asked. Everyone's eyes were on Midoriya as he pondered it. Yeah, I meant it, Midoriya said as he went back to eating. I know it's wrong, but I don't want you guys to get involved with my life. I don't want the fear of being stabbed in the back. I don't want to have the fear of losing you guys, which is why I can't get close to anyone. Truly, I am sorry, Midoriya said to them. He stood up, beginning to walk away, but Ida grabbed his arm violently. Midoriya, this isn't healthy for you. I'm informing Aizawa. With that, Midoriya's eyes went wide and he kicked Ida in the head, knocking him out cold. Shoto froze, Midoriya in his eyes, and went to Ida's aid. I'm sorry. You all are too kind and don't deserve to have a shitty friend like me. So I will do everything in my power to make you guys stay away from me. For your sakes, Midoriya thought as he went unconscious. Shoto's POV. Go call Recovery Girl now, Araka, I yelled at her, and she ran. I looked at Midoriya, who was now unconscious. I looked around and everyone in the lunchroom had their eyes on us. I looked down at Ida. He was going to get a pretty bad bruise from that kick. If you really want us to stay away from you so bad, so be it, Midoriya. We'll still away from you, Shoto thought as he looked at the now unconscious Midoriya with hatred. Chapter 11. Selfish. Self-harm. Oh, self-harm won't be happening. Okay. Midoriya's POV. I woke up to a bright light in the ceiling. I sat up. Why am I in here? What happened? I thought, trying to remember. I looked around to see a little old lady. You're awake. It's been a few hours since school's over. Now, young man, you really shouldn't be picking fights, the old lady said as she hit me in the back of the head with a cane. Ow! Also, fights? What do you mean, where am I? I asked the lady. Looked at me for a second as if I were dumb. I raised an eyebrow expecting her to answer. You actually don't remember, Midoriya. You picked a fight with Ida, and Shoto froze you. Then you went unconscious. You're in the recovery room at UA, said someone in the shadows at the corner. They came out. It was Aizawa. I remembered. Oh, I remember now, I said in a monotone voice. I started getting up. Sit, Aizawa said as his hair floated up and his eyes turned red. I sat down. I would be lying if I said that didn't terrify me, but I'll never admit that. Ida did tell me why he thinks you did it, Aizawa said. Damn it, Ida. I thought as I put my head down, avoiding eye contact. Midoriya, I'm not trying to force you to make friends. I didn't want to either as a kid, honestly. I don't like admitting it, but having Present Mike and Midnight as friends, no matter how annoying they can be, is something I'll never regret doing. Aizawa said as he knelt down to my level, so now I had to look at him. You can talk to me, kid. I know how you feel, Aizawa said as he stood up. See you tomorrow. With that, Aizawa walked out, was speechless. You can go now. Try not to pick any more fights with people. Okay, fine. She nodded sternly and I smiled. From here, he wonders, why did I act like that towards her? Did what Aizawa said really change me? I thought as I looked back at Recovery Girl's door. I saw Aizawa standing near the door. He was smirking with a little thumbs up. He must have heard. I thought as I gave him a thumbs up and turned the corner. Once I turned the corner, my mood dropped. I saw Shoto and Uraraka. They didn't notice me, so I quickly passed them, but before I could, someone grabbed me by the arm and slammed me against the lockers. Shoto Todoroki did it. I didn't fight it, I just stared at him. Stay away from us. Don't touch or talk to us either or you'll regret it, Shoto said, as he yelled fire towards my face. He let me go and I just stood there. Damn it, I thought as I walked away. I could feel both eyes on me as I walked. Dorm. What's wrong with me? I just have to push people away. I'm so selfish, Midoriya thought as he laid in bed. I even ran away from my mother for myself. She's in jail because of me. I hurt Ida because I was too selfish to give them a chance. I'm at UA because I didn't want to live up to my actions and go to jail, where I belong, Midoriya thought as he slowly went towards his bathroom. This isn't selfish, right? Midoriya said to his reflection as he held a razor to his wrist. One for Ida, one for Uraraka, one for Shoto, one for my mom. Okay, basically, he hurts himself a little bit. And... Wait. I think... Wait. Hold on. Actually, I'm going to keep reading. I think this part might be interesting and we might actually need this. 14. That's how many cuts he now had on his wrist. He rinsed off the blood and ready to disinfect. I'm such an idiot. Maybe I should talk to Aizawa. Okay. I know it's wrong, but I didn't want you guys to get involved in my life. Those are the words he said towards Shoto and the other two. He let go of the door handle. I did say that. I should stay true to my word for once, Midoriya thought as he laid in bed and drifted off to sleep. Okay, time skip. Midoriya woke up to no alarm. All right, my alarm clock. I broke it, Midoriya thought as he looked over to the pieces of his alarm. Midoriya grabbed his phone. It was 1 p.m., 7 hours since school started. I'll just say I was sick. That trick usually works, Midoriya thought as he looked at the notifications and saw messages from Uraraka. What does she want? Wait, some of these are messages from yesterday, Midoriya thought as he looked at the messages. Tomato Girl. Hey Midoriya, don't ask how I got your number. I just wanted to apologize for Shoto yesterday. We can talk if you want. Yesterday. Tomato Girl. Midoriya's school started. Are you okay? Why aren't you here today? Tomato Girl. Midoriya, please answer. I hope nothing bad happened. I'm coming by today during lunch, okay? Tomato Girl. Midoriya, your door's locked. I think I heard you snore. Glad to know you just slept in. Text me and let's meet up in my dorm after school. Ooh. I'll tell you what you missed. A bit creepy, but weirdly sweet, Midoriya thought, as he smiled a bit reading her messages. He quickly stopped once he noticed he was smiling. Midoriya, I got sick if you don't mind telling Aizawa for me. Also, I'll take the offer. I really need to catch up. Thanks, Uraraka, for doing this. You don't have to, though. I wouldn't want to be a burden, you know? Midoriya then looked at his bandage and said he'll probably take care of that. Afterwards, Tomato Girl said, hey, I did tell Aizawa. Also, you can come over now if you want. I'll meet you in the cafeteria. I'm with Ida currently. Great. Actually, I should probably take the opportunity to apologize, Midoriya thought as he put a hoodie on and went out towards the cafeteria. Midoriya made it towards the cafeteria where Ida and Uraraka were waiting, and Uraraka waved towards Midoriya. Hey, we're over here! He was about to wave back when he saw Ida's condition. Damn it. I must have kicked him pretty hard. It's a lot of bandages, Midoriya thought as he looked at Ida. Midoriya then waved back at Uraraka and approached Ida, who just stared at Midoriya as he approached. Without hesitation, Midoriya hugged Ida. Ida was shocked, but he hugged back. I'm sorry, Ida. I know what I did was very wrong. Please accept this apology, Midoriya said while letting go of Ida. I accept it. It was also wrong of me to forcibly try and help, Ida said. I still do stand by what I said. I won't be getting close to you or Uraraka. My apologies. I hope we can at least all be on normal terms. Ida and Uraraka nodded. For Shoto, it may take some time, but I'm sure he'll forgive you eventually, Uraraka said. Midoriya nodded. Also, Midoriya, you didn't miss much. I simply called you down here so you had an opportunity to apologize. Sorry, Uraraka said. Midoriya rolled his eyes. Deep down, he was thankful for the girl's actions. Well, if that's the case, I'm tired. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Midoriya waved to the two and walked towards his dorm. Midoriya made it towards his dorm, laid on his bed, and just as he was about to sleep, his phone buzzed. Why can't I just sleep in peace, Midoriya thought. A message? From an unknown number? Midoriya thought as he opened the number. Midoriya, Uraraka and Ida told me about what happened. I'll let it slide this once, but stay away from them. Shoto, I should apologize. He probably still thinks I'm an ass. Who wouldn't, Midoriya thought. Shoto, can we talk tomorrow after school? If it's to apologize, forget it. You wanted to be alone, so be alone. This number has blocked you. Damn, I'm such an idiot. From here, he threw his phone at the wall, causing a sharp pain to go through his wrist. That hurts him, and afterwards he would sleep for an hour. He would think, I look uglier than before, Midoriya thought as he brushed his teeth, staring at his reflection. He then got dressed, grabbed his now cracked phone, and headed out towards the class. He entered the class and sat down. He basically slept through the entire class. Only a few times did Aizawa wake Midoriya up, but after a few more times he gave up on trying to and let Midoriya sleep. Lunch came around and nothing eventful happened. It was the same as before. He was a loner, just like he liked it. Yeah, it was hard sometimes, but it was easy to deal with. A time skip, a month. Midoriya was in his class, playing with his pencil, waiting for Aizawa's arrival, so class could start. During the month, Midoriya was given permission by Neze and Aizawa to patrol, which he was glad about. Today, though, he wasn't able to do so, so he wondered why. Aizawa walked in. If you've forgotten, we're going to training camp tomorrow. We'll be there for a few weeks. Everyone in the class's eyes widened. So did Midoriya's. I forgot about that. I should probably head to the mall today to get some extra stuff, Midoriya thought, as he stared at Aizawa. After Aizawa's speech, he simply went back to teaching his lesson. Midoriya, of course, paid no attention. Ring. I guess I should head to the mall, Midoriya thought, as he got up and walked out of the UA grounds towards the mall. He felt people staring at him, so he looked behind him and saw a few other students from UA following. I guess I'm not alone. That's fine, I guess, Midoriya thought. Midoriya entered the mall. Where should I go first, Midoriya thought. Just then he heard someone call his name. Are you Reject? I mean Izuki Midoriya. That's crazy. I'm a big fan, the person said while wrapping their arms around his neck. Let go now, Midoriya said, as the person put 4 fingers around his neck. Shigaraki, Midoriya said. I just want to talk, Midoriya. Listen, I could kill you in an instant by putting my 5th finger on your neck. I could kill 20, maybe even hundreds of people, Shigaraki said. Midoriya knew he was right. Fine, let's talk, Midoriya said. Good choice. Let's sit. First, I hate everything. The hero killer and his attention, Shigaraki said. I thought he was with you. He was, but he got caught by some stupid kids. Speaking of, you were that random kid, weren't you? Shigaraki said, tightening the grip on Midoriya's neck. Can't breathe. Dang it. Midoriya didn't show his panic and nodded towards Shigaraki. Shigaraki loosened his grip. Damn you and those other students. Why did you even join UA? Why not join us? Honestly, they forced you into something you didn't even want. They imprisoned your mother and you haven't even let you see her, Shigaraki said in a disgusted tone. You may have a point, but at the same time, me and your goals are total opposites. You want to take people in and give vengeance. I want to save people from their issues, giving them a future, Midoriya said. Shigaraki tightened the grip again. Wrong choice of words, Midoriya. Shit, I can't breathe, Midoriya thought as his vision went a bit blurry. He grabbed Shigaraki's hand trying to get it off, but it didn't budge. Midoriya, who's this? Midoriya looked up to see Uraraka and Ida. With that, Shigaraki's grip loosened and Midoriya saw him reach his pocket. Uraraka, Ida, I'm fine, really. Go away. Now go! Shigaraki then completely let go of Midoriya, in which he started coughing violently. My bad. I'll be on my way. See you later, Midoriya. Follow me, and you'll regret it. Shigaraki whispered the last part so only Midoriya could hear. Shigaraki was about to get up when Midoriya grabbed his arm. Shigaraki immediately grabbed Midoriya's arm with 4 fingers. What's the point of all this chaos you're causing, Midoriya whispered. Like you said, vengeance. Shigaraki whispered as he snatched his arm away from Midoriya. Midoriya, watch yourself. Next time we meet, I'll most likely make up my mind and kill you. Shigaraki said, loud enough for Uraraka and Ida to hear. Shigaraki then walked into the crowd, disappearing. Did he hurt you? Uraraka, call the authorities, Ida said while he made his way to Midoriya, who held his neck, which had a red handprint. I'm fine, you guys, really. You guys saved me back there. I appreciate it, Midoriya said. Just then, Ida smiled and nodded. I told you to stay away from us. Midoriya looked around to see who said it. Shoto was walking towards him. Shoto, he was just attacked. Give him a breather. We saw it and helped out, Uraraka said as she hung up the phone. Shoto stared at Midoriya with wide eyes as he examined his neck, seeing the handprint. Authorities are coming, they said. They'll need you for an interrogation, Uraraka said. Midoriya just nodded. He didn't want to speak on the incident. Shigaraki, you seem to be the only person who actually understands me. What have you been through to turn you into such a villain? Is it any different from my suffering? Would I have become a villain like you if I had lost myself any further? Midoriya thought. Maybe. Chapter 13. Training Camp. Damn it, I broke it already, Midoriya shouted as he sat up looking at his new alarm clock. It was now in shatters. Midoriya just got up, dressed, and went to class. Eventually, we time skipped to them inside of the bus, seeing as they're now on their way to the training camp. When are we going to get off this bus? Midoriya thought, until eventually, they made it there. Once they ended up arriving, eventually the Wild Pussycats would end up throwing all of his classmates off the roof, and Izuku would be the only one there. He would turn back to see Aizawa, and he'd be pinching the side of his nose, thinking to himself, why do I even? As he would look at him and say, Midoriya, just go down there. You're supposed to be there with your classmates. Midoriya just looked at him and said, do I have to? And Aizawa said, yes. Midoriya huffed, but eventually jumped down, landing on the mountain safely. Hours later would finally happen, and eventually, Izuku would catch a glimpse of all the people behind the hill. He realizes that Aizawa was there, and so are the Wild Cats. Eventually, his classmates would be like, how are you able to run? We've been out here for hours. Denki yelled towards Midoriya. I have good stamina, I guess, Midoriya answered. Finally, his classmates made it up the hill, covered in sweat and out of breath. Midoriya again didn't listen to what the pussycat said. Instead, he stared at the little boy who stared right back at him. Midoriya, you listening? Aizawa said. My bad. Hey, I was wondering, who's that kid? Midoriya said while pointing to the little boy. That's Kota, Mandalay said. Midoriya walked up to the boy, bending down to his level. Hey Kota, I'm Midoriya. Kota then aimed the punch at Midoriya's lower region, but Midoriya caught the fist. Nice to meet you too, Kota. Midoriya then let go of the kid's hand, for he seemed frightened. He walked back to his classmates, and he said, Wait, are you Izuku Midoriya? Reject! Midoriya looked at the kid. Fanboy, I see. Been a while since I was referred to that name. You can call me that, kiddo. Midoriya winked at the kid, and then walked back to his classmates, towards the kitchen where they'd cook. After eating, Midoriya headed to the jacuzzi, where everyone else was, and eventually the situation that goes down in canon with Mineta being a complete you-know-what happens. And eventually, after all that happens, we kind of just time skip straight to when Izuku goes over, catches Kota, and then would pretty much be told about Kota's situation, right? It's pretty sad. I mean, he thinks about it, and eventually we time skip to the next day. Midoriya walked out to the area where 1A was meant to meet, and he saw Aizawa along with Vlad in Class 1B. He thinks to himself, I guess this isn't too bad. Could be worse, Midoriya thought as he walked over to Aizawa to see what he'd been training. Look, it's Midoriya, the kid who threatened and fought me. Midoriya turned around to see Monoma. I jinxed it. Midoriya just flipped the kid off and walked to Aizawa. Sensei, what should I be training? Aizawa turned towards Midoriya. Work on your aim with knives, I guess. Or leg and arm strength. You do it any way you want. Aizawa said and waved Midoriya off. Midoriya went into the forest, got his knives out, and started carving targets into trees. He threw this first knife and headed dead center. Okay, arm strength and leg strength it is. Midoriya climbed the tree, swinging from branch to branch, and eventually Aizawa called everyone back to the main area so that they could start cooking again. I wonder where that kid is. Midoriya looked around to see the kid running away. I'll take him a plate. Midoriya grabbed the second plate and went towards the kid where he ran. From Shoto's POV, I got my plate, sat with Uraraka and Ida. Where's he going? Uraraka said, pointing in a direction. I turned around to see Midoriya walking somewhere. I don't know, I said, a bit annoyed. She was even still interested in him. He seems to be interested in that Kota kid. I wonder what's so interesting about him, Ida said. I just ate my food and closed out the two conversations. From Midoriya's POV, I followed a path that led to this huge area where I saw Kota laying. Mind if I join you? I brought food, I said. Kota jumped. Reject, how'd you find me? Did Mandalay tell you where my hiding place was? Nah, I may or may not have followed you. You want the food? I said, holding it out to him. He took it. What do you want? Kota said. I know what happened to your parents. I know who he is and who he works for, I said while staring at the sky. I heard the boy spit out his water. Mandalay told you, didn't she? Kota seemed very angry, but I kept calm, still staring at the sky. She did. Don't get mad at her though. Just remember, they became heroes for you. They wanted to protect you. You don't know that. They abandoned me, Kota yelled. I looked at him, and he had tears streaming down his face. The kid's going to go make me go soft, Midoriya thought. I do know though. Don't tell anyone, but my mom was a vigilante before me. She could have died or been caught at any point. She didn't just do it only for the people, but she did it for me. Same situation with you and your parents, Kota. They protected you, Midoriya said. Kota was sobbing. He tackled Midoriya into a hug. Midoriya couldn't help but hug him back. That kid, he reminds me of myself. Maybe that's why I'm going soft. Let's head back, Kota. It's getting late. Chapter 14, Future Heroes. Okay, we jump back right to where after Midoriya would have told him to go back, and he and Kota were joking about his vigilante experiences. Then the man shouted, "That's me, money." Honestly, Then the man shouted, "That's me, money." Honestly, he reminded me of Mr. Krabs, I said. Kota bursted into laughter. I felt eyes on us, so I looked up to see Mandalay staring at us as we approached the area. Kota, Midoriya, you both seem to be getting along, Mandalay said, smiling greatly at Kota and me. Kota tried acting serious, but ended up bursting into laughter. I'm glad I got that kid to laugh, I thought. Midoriya, can I speak to you alone? Kota, head inside. It's pretty late, Mandalay said. Me and Mandalay watched as Kota ran off. So, what did you want to talk about, Mandalay? I said. Then she burst into tears. I'll admit I'm not the best at comforting others, so I awkwardly pat her back. I'm fine, I'm okay. Thank you, Midoriya. I haven't seen Kota so happy in what seems like forever, Mandalay said. Oh, it was nothing really. I was interrupted by Kota running by us towards his hideout. I forgot something. I'll be quick, Kota said while running off. Oh yeah, we kind of started our activity for tonight. Aizawa excused you from it, so don't worry, Midoriya. So I should be good to sleep? Showing emotions is so exhausting. That's nice. I'm heading to sleep. I'm exhausted, I said as I waved back to Mandalay. I was about to walk away when I felt something weird. Burning. I turned to see smoke coming out of the forest. Say, Mandalay, does the activity have anything to do with smoke and fire? I screamed and panicked. I'm going into the forest to check it out. Go get Kota. I nodded. I ran towards the hideout. From Kota's POV, he would think, I can't believe I spoke to the reject. And then, suddenly, Muscular would then rush at Kota and would be on some, I'm gonna kill you typing, you know what I mean? He freezes terrified, and right when he was about to punch him, it never happened. I opened my eyes to see Midoriya. Reject! Kota, get behind me, Reject said. I did. How is he gonna beat this guy? From Midoriya's POV, he would think, what is this thing? As he pulled out a knife. You think a little dagger will do the job? Look at me and look at you. Wait, you're on Shigaraki's list. This is gonna be fun, the man said, now smiling wickedly. List? What list? Then he charged me. I grabbed Kota and jumped over him. Don't dodge, you'll make me angry, the man said. Kota, run! Go back to the campsite, I promise I'll make it. Kota froze. Poor kid's in shock. Kota, hurry! I was then slammed into a wall, my ears immediately ringing. I looked up to see Muscular Man walking over slowly to Kota. I can't let him die, he's a kid, he's scared. My ears stopped ringing for a second. Go away, Kota yelled as he sprayed water out of his hands. My eyes widened. I snapped. Pay attention to the threat, I said while smiling almost insanely. As I went behind him, going for his throat, slicing it. He immediately went limp, falling with impact, sending Kota flying off the cliff. I caught him though. Reject, you're covered in blood. You're hurt. Why did you do that for me? Kota yelled. I rolled my eyes. Hurry and get on my back. Questions later. Let's take you back to camp. Kota then hopped on my back and I ran through the forest towards the camp. Honestly, y'all, that's a very interesting way to get rid of Muscular. Catch him off guard while he's distracted, because if it wasn't for that, I promise you, this version of Deku, I have no idea how he would have beat him, because it doesn't sound like he even has his hero costume. It sounded like all he had was that dagger and his training, and I'm sorry, but there's no world where he was going to beat him. Anyways, afterwards, Kota would say, look, as he would then point to Aizawa, and then he would realize that they were about to fight against somebody. This is when he would then run off towards the direction of his classmates, and from Aizawa's POV, he would think to himself, get back here. From here, a bunch of villains would attack, and Aizawa would then inform everybody that this is not a drill. The villains are finally attacking. Chapter 15. Switch. From Midoriya's POV, once Mandalay finished telling everyone with the telepathy, he would run off in the direction where he heard commotion. I turned back to say something to Mandalay when I was faced with a person about to throw a knife at me, only for it to be stopped by another villain. Don't! That's Reject! Stain used to respect him a ton, the villain said to the other. He turned to look at me, and I just winked. Mandalay, Kota's safe. I'm gonna make sure everyone else is okay. I then run off. Tokiyami, calm down, it's okay. That voice sounds like Shoji. I run towards the voice only to be greeted by a large shadow figure about to attack. Then Shoji picks me up and runs with me on his back. Midoriya, you are in no condition to be out here, Shoji says while trying to avoid Tokiyami's attacks. Is that Dark Shadow? He lost control, didn't he? I say while looking back, hearing Tokiyami repeatedly apologizing. His weakness is lice, but we're nowhere near fire in the forest and we both can't produce any light, I thought. Then suddenly I heard explosions. Bakugo! Shoji, head towards the explosions. From Shoto's POV, they would both be facing off against them, and eventually they would finally end up arriving there, eventually leading to the same situation that happens just like in canon, where eventually what pretty much would end up going down is that Shoji would finally get Tokiyami to calm down, and Shoto would fail to get Bakugo. Afterwards, what would end up going down is that Todoroki would then be told, such a shame, as Dabi would fall. Release him, Dabi says to Compress, in which Compress does. Bakugo is led out of the marvel, and immediately Dabi places his hand around Bakugo's neck. I jump into action running towards him. No, I can't let him go. He's right there, I think, as I continue sprinting what I have left. Suddenly Dabi pushes Bakugo out of the way and reaches out for me. He grabs a hold of my arm and burns it. I scream and try to push away from his grip, but he's too strong. You're coming with us, Midoriya, Dabi whispers. I'm then forced to go through the portal. I see what looks like a bar, and then my vision goes black. Alright boys, so the reason that I didn't exactly cover it completely is because if you've seen my videos, you know exactly how this goes. You've seen the series. It's basically just the same series, but switching from POVs. That's all that really happens. I mean, Deku comes in, they end up making their way towards Moonfish, Tokiyami goes crazy, he defeats him, Mr. Compress comes in and takes Tokiyami and Bakugo. You know, what pretty much ends up going down after that is that Deku rushes in, you know, he's trying to grab a hold of Bakugo. They luckily save Tokiyami, but ultimately Bakugo would still be taken, and after all of that would end up happening, at the end of it, Deku would be taken in by the portal. And that's the summarization of what happens there. Next chapter. Chapter 16. Mom. No, I can't let them go. He's right here, I think, as I continue sprinting with everything I have left. You're coming with us, Midoriya, Dabi whispers. Recap end. Shigaraki's POV, before the training camp attack. Now that we got the plan out of the way, let's discuss who we're capturing. I say, I believe we should go after Katsuki Bakugo. He did win the sports festival, Kurigiri says. We should go after Shoto Todoroki. He's quite powerful. His performance at the festival was incredible. We should go after no one. This is ridiculous, Dabi says while rolling his eyes. And eventually, Shigaraki would end up saying that they need to go after Reject and Bakugo, saying that they like that plan. Eventually, Shigaraki would tell them not to fail him, and afterwards, they finally make their way back. Midoriya from here says, "Shoji!" He would shout as the portal closes. "We were tricked," I say, tearing up. I hear commotion in the woods. I look over to see Uraraka and Sue running over. "Yes, we got Bakugo and Tokiyami back." "Wait, where's Midoriya?" Uraraka says. "They took him," Bakugo says, while standing up and walking away from us. "You seem to not even care, Bakugo. He risked his life for you," in an angry tone which shocks everyone. "You don't think I care?" Bakugo says, turning towards us to see tears streaming down his face. "Bakugo, I'm sorry. Just forget it," Bakugo says while walking towards the camp. We all watch as he leaves. "Let's head back. Don't want to risk anything," Tokiyami says while standing up and walking. We all follow. I didn't even want to apologize. We were approaching the camp when we hear, "Look, it's Bakugo and the others," Kirishima says. "What happened?" Aizawa says, noticing our teary eyes and bad moods. "Midoriya. They took him," Uraraka says. I look up to see Aizawa with wide eyes. "The villains outsmarted us," I say. "He saved me," Bakugo says. From Midoriya's POV, he would see nothing. "I can't see. My head. What happened? The League. They got me," I thought. Then I heard someone or something walking towards me. "Midoriya, welcome to the League of Villains hideout." They then unblindfolded me, and Then the blindfold they had on me was disintegrated. Right. I look around to see a majority of the league members. "Get to the point, hand fetish," I say in a bored tone. Shigaraki takes offense to my comment and lunges at me. "Calm down, Shigaraki. He just woke up," Kurogiri says, as he makes a portal in front of Shigaraki, blocking his way to me. "So why am I here?" I say. I look at my arms and legs, and they're tied to a wooden chair. These guys are idiots, I think to myself, as I stand up in the chair and smash it against the wall. "Maybe you should have made sure that chair was embedded into the ground," I say as I break the ropes off of my arms. I look around the room to see people in shock. I walk over to the bar casually. "Can I have a water?" I ask Kurogiri. He just stares at me. "My bad. Can I please have a water?" I say. Kurogiri nods and Shigaraki glares at him. "You think this is a game, Reject?" Shigaraki asks as he walks towards me. I start backing up. If that's meant to be taken as a game, then I think I'm winning. I then bump into the wall behind me. Or not. I think as I turn back to meet Shigaraki's gaze, his hand on my face with the pinky up. His hand moves from my face to my shoulder, placing all fingers down. I hiss in pain, legs starting to shake. I fall to my knees, eyes starting to fill with tears as I watch my shoulder skin disintegrate. I'm so dead. "Shigaraki, we need this boy," I hear someone say, but I look around the room to see them staring at a TV. Shigaraki quickly lets go of me. "Master, I apologize. I let my anger get to me. It won't happen again," Shigaraki says, clearly frightened. I just stand there confused, but I start looking for an exit. I see that Stitch Face is blocking the exit. Good. Now Midoriya, listen. I hear my name and I go pale. Shigaraki grabs my arms with 4 fingers and makes me sit right in front of the TV. "Speak," Shigaraki says. "TV man?" I say sarcastically, which earns a smack in the back of the head from Shigaraki. I chuckle. "Midoriya, we want you to join the league. This time, you don't have a choice." "What are you talking about?" The TV screen then shows someone. My mom. She has a knife to... Whoa, that's a plot twist. My mom. She has a knife to her throat. "That's Toga. Damn you, Toga. One slash and she's a goner," she says. I would then think to myself, what do I do? And then I hear, "So Midoriya, will you abandon your mother once again? Or will you save her this time?" My eyes widen by his choice of words, but he's right. I feel my eyes fill with tears as I look at my mom. I can't abandon her this time. I'm sorry, Yue. They don't care though, right? They never really spoke to me anyways, I think. Fine, I'll join. Leave her out of this. I want to see Toga leave the room, and come back to this bar, I say. I can just feel Shigaraki's gaze pierce me as I say those words. Deal. Toga, leave her, and head back to base, the man says. His words make me shiver. Why? Who is this guy? I watch as Toga leaves, my mom causing her to start sobbing. Then, the TV shuts off. Some time passes when Toga enters the bar. I will stop by soon. Confirmation. You're joining, correct? I can't believe I'm putting myself through this. Yeah, I'll join. That was a good chapter. Chapter 17, Countdown. Okay, warning will be given during chapter. Torture, gore. Ah, man, we love all that stuff. Anyways, I will stop soon. Confirmation. You're joining, correct? Okay, anyways. Shoto's POV. Okay, they're all talking about things. Bakugo's mad. How could you do that to him? Just because he's quirkless doesn't make him useless. I say angrily. Okay, wait. I'm actually going to read this part. It looks like it's interesting, actually. Shoto's POV at the hospital. Shoto's staring at Bakugo sitting on the hospital bed while being surrounded. He just told us his backstory with Midoriya. I don't know about everyone else, but me? I'm beyond pissed. How could you do that to him? Just because he's quirkless doesn't make him useless. I say angrily. Shoto, calm down. I think he's learned from his mistakes. Right, Bakugo? Kirishima says while holding me back. I did, but that doesn't change the fact that I did it. Honestly, I just wish I could have apologized, Bakugo says. You guys are acting as if he's dead. He's strong, Uraraka says with a smile. Just because he's strong doesn't mean they won't kill him. If anything, it gives them more of a reason to kill him, I say as I watch her smile fade away. I overheard something about Momo putting a tracker on a member of the league, Jiro suddenly says. Then can we help him? Kirishima says. It's risky, but just like Bakugo, I have to apologize for what I did to him. I say, no, Shoto, I won't let you make the same mistake I made, Ida says while walking up to me. It's a rescue mission. It doesn't have to involve fighting, I say back. Calm down, both of you, I hear Uraraka say as she separates us. What if he joins the league? Bakugo says. This causes silence upon the room. We can't think like that. We have to have faith in him. Yes, he wasn't the brightest person, but what makes you think he'd become a villain? He's sure bubbly. Weird, I think to myself as I stare at him. It's the hard truth, but now knowing all this horrible stuff about his past, what makes you think they don't know? They can use it against him. Anything he cares about. He was a vigilante, so I don't doubt he had a few run-ins with these guys. I say. Midoriya's POV. Oh, by the way, this is the first warning. I drink the glass of water Kurogiri gave me as I sit next to Toga. She's just eyeing me down with her bubbly eyes. So, Izuku, what nicknames do you have? Toga suddenly asks. Don't call me by my first name. Also, why are you so interested? I ask, while staring down into her eyes. I don't know. I'm so bored waiting for All For One to arrive. That name makes me shiver. I know him. All For One, I say, grabbing Shigaraki's attention. He doesn't say anything, but he just stares at me as I am now shaking. He's amused. All For One's the guy who injured All Might that one time. He's a threat. He wants me. Why? I think to myself. Calm down, Midoriya. I'm sure his plans aren't that bad, Kurogiri says as he refills my water. You don't even know his plans? I ask, trying to hide my stutter, but failing miserably. Kurogiri shakes his head no in response. I start shaking more aggressively. Damn it, I look so weak, I think to myself. Toga grabs my hand. I try to yank it from her, but I can see her eyes. She looks concerned. Hey, calm down. I'm sure it's nothing serious. Honestly, for a kid, you have good knife skills. No one here in the league has been able to hit me. She's trying to get my mind off of it. I smile at her kindness before realizing she's a villain. Why are you being kind? I'm not saying it's uncommon for villains to be kind. I'm just saying it because we literally just fought, I say. She laughs, and honestly, it makes my heart warm a bit. Cute. Wait a damn minute. What am I doing? I think to myself as I stand up and walk away from her. She looks at me in shock and then she smirks. We're getting somewhere too, she says while walking towards me, knife in hand. You manipulative, I say as I grab a knife and throw it at her. She does the same. Then portals appear where the knife should have landed. Both of you stop, Kurogiri says. He's here, Shigaraki then says, and he walks towards me quickly, putting his hand around my neck before I can even think, with a pinky up. He sure does like that pinky, huh? I think to myself. Dabi, come on. He wants you too. Shigaraki says. Dabi's eyes go wide. He stares at me and mouths, "Sorry." Sorry for what? My thoughts are interrupted by Shigaraki forcing me to move. "Watch it, will you?" I yell towards him. I look at his face and he's smiling down at me creepily. My eyes widen. What's gonna happen to me? We approach a door. Dabi opens the door to reveal a white room. In the room, a table with restraints and a man with a mask. I'm going to regret this. My eyes widen once I recognize the man. All for one. Lay him on the table, All for One says. Shigaraki drags me towards the table. Tears start to fill my eyes. Stop! No! I don't want to! Tears now start streaming down my eyes, but it took a while, but they finally strapped me down. Dabi, stay here. Shigaraki, you can go, All for One says. Have fun, Shigaraki says while smiling. He shuts the door, locking it, and I turn to All for One to see what he's doing. He's walking towards me with something behind his back. This is a warning, some torture will happen here. Get away! I yell as he approaches. He pulls down my hoodie sleeve and reveals my wrist. Looks like you've already been cutting. I'll just add to it, All for One says while taking out a knife from behind his back. He then proceeds to do a bunch of bad stuff. And eventually, after all of this stuff happens, he would then start counting 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And then at this point, Midoriya is just starting to shake violently. He then tells him, calm down or we're starting over again. 3. Detroit Smash! Am I going crazy now, I think? But I'm not. I look at All for One and Dabi. Their eyes widen. I smirk. He's still counting. Shouldn't he be running like all villains? 1. Okay, Dabi, let him go. He's strong enough for it. Let's retreat somewhere else. Then I'll inject him, All for One says. I look at my neck. What in the... I look like Dabi 2.0. Wait, retreat? Huh. My thoughts are interrupted as my face is covered in a black blob. I watch as last second, All Might enters the white room. I reach for him, but all of a sudden I'm in a new location. Immediately, I start coughing and gasping for air. I hear someone walking over to me. All for One, go away, I say, not even having to look up at him. Hold him, Shigaraki, All for One says. I try to jump back, but that's exactly where Shigaraki was. He puts his hand around my neck. Why are my reflexes so slow? I shout. Shigaraki laughs as he tightens his grip. I've already injected you with something, that's why. Anyways, stay still for me, All for One says as he approaches with the syringe, staring into my eyes, causing me to freeze. His eyes, so calming. That's right, good job. This will hurt a bit. I mean a lot, All for One says, now injecting me. Shigaraki immediately lets go and lets me fall to the ground. My head starts getting dizzy. I feel like I'm spinning. I then get a severe headache causing me to scream, and my body feels like it's on fire. My ears ring, my vision gets blurry, and then I start coughing up blood. My head then gets lifted up. You'll live. Thank me later, Midoriya, All for One says, letting go of my head, letting it hit the ground. With that, my vision goes back. Chapter 18, All for One. Back from Midoriya's point of view, we see him waking up in an empty room. A small lamp lighting up the room. I look around, and behind me I find All for One. I quickly jump away. Did I die or something? Because this seems like hell. Okay, seriously, what happened, I think to myself, while staring at All for One. Sneaking up on me wasn't the kindest thing too. Wasn't the kindest thing. To make up for it, why don't you tell me where I am and why I'm here, I say. I helped you, Midoriya. I furrowed my eyebrows a bit, annoyed that he ignored me. Listen, I don't have time for a monologue. Tell me where I am and why I'm here. Maybe you'll get it now. All for One snaps his finger, causing an immense amount of pain to go through my body, causing me to fall to my knees and scream. Memories of mine flash through my mind, only making the pain more extreme. I look up towards All for One, despise the pain, and he's reaching down for me. His eyes once again mesmerizing me. His hand then reaches for my face, causing all the pain to go away. Midoriya, take this as a gift. I thank you for proving society wrong on the Quirkless. Then, I start to feel something entering my face, coming from his hand. It hurts, but I don't scream. I just stare at his eyes, slowly forgetting everything. then start to close my eyes, but I'm stopped when All For One removes his hand from my face. I look at him, and he's becoming transparent. Looks like my time's coming to an end. I didn't get to erase your memory, but I did give you the quirk. Farewell, Midoriya. In a blink of an eye, I'm all of a sudden laying down in a bed, facing a bright light in the ceiling. Hospital, I call it. I sit up and chuckle as I'm faced with the hospital room. What a weird nightmare. No, it couldn't have been a nightmare. It seemed too realistic with the events happening. If it's true, what's my quirk and how will I know what it... I slammed my hands against my mouth, realizing I was mumbling, but also because of the fact I heard nearby noises. Midoriya's awake. Can we see him? Is he in good condition? Quiet, let her talk. I thought you said he'd be in a coma. It's only been a day. He was meant to be, but he isn't. We don't know the reason, but let's not complain. Of course you can see him. Come follow me. If it's true, he gave me a quirk. He must have given me a hearing enhancement quirk since I felt I heard their voices so clearly, almost as if they were in this room. My thoughts are interrupted by the door knob turning and people entering the room. A nurse? Shoto, Bakugo, Kirishima, Momo, Ida, and Aizawa. Midoriya, how do you know who we are? Aizawa asks. Duh. My response causes the nurse's eyes to widen. I raise an eyebrow at her. You were meant to have severe memory loss once you woke up. It's a miracle, the nurse says enthusiastically. You idiot, why'd you do that for me? Bakugo shouts. The shout surprisingly hurts my ears. I cover them quickly. Don't yell. Also, Sensei, can I talk to you alone? I say, still covering my ears. Of course, Midoriya. I would also like to invite All Might, Neze, and Tsukachi. I nod. I said alone, but whatever. I may also have to stay in the room just in case anything were to happen. I just roll my eyes. Everyone but Aizawa and the nurse exit the room. We were just waiting for the others to arrive. Sometime later they do, and All Might says, Young Midoriya, I'm glad you're okay, in a skeleton-looking form. You haven't been informed? I'll do the honors, All Might says. I nod. After All For One teleported everyone out of our grasp, I made my way to the Nomu facility they had, and lo and behold, you were all there. Upon arrival, I saw you unconscious. I fought All For One for a while before your classmates intervened, getting you out of that area to this hospital. All For One got the other villains out of the way, so we fought alone. I ended up winning, but my true identity was revealed. I sat there still trying to process everything that was just said with a little bit of help, and I was finally able to understand everything. Sorry to interrupt, but I say this to the teachers. Midoriya may not want to be asked questions so suddenly after just getting out of a traumatic event, the nurse says. It's fine. I appreciate the thought, but I'll be fine, I say. When I enter the room, young Midoriya, you were strapped to a table with burn marks and scars. What did they do to you? All Might said. Suddenly, saying this earned a hint with a cane from a nurse. Well, they tortured me. I have no idea why, but I think it was a test for... I stopped. Do I really want to tell them? What if they think wrongly of me? You were saying? All Might said. I jumped at his words, looking around at everyone. I saw their eyes locked onto mine. It was a test for an injection, to see if I was able to handle it. I was indeed injected with it, but I have no idea what it did to me. Lie. You do know. I turned my head to see Tsukachi. Lie detector man. Midoriya, what did it do? Neze asked sternly, surprising many people in the room, including myself. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't terrified at everyone's glances. I took a deep breath before speaking. Once I was injected, I passed out, and then I had a nightmare where I was in a room with All For One. He said something like, thank you for proving society wrong on the Quirkless. Then he said something like, my time is running out. Take this quirk as my gift. Then I woke up. Everyone in the room started to stare at me with wide eyes. They looked as if they wanted to jump me. Midoriya, do you know what the quirk is? Aizawa said as he stood up. Well, I believe it's simply hearing enhancement, All Might gasped. I believe it's only hearing enhancement. All Might gasped. I turned to him to see he was reaching for me. I jumped out of my bed. Midoriya, calm down. I want to see your neck. The burn. It's gone. My eyes go wide. I run to the bathroom, locking the door, ignoring the banging on the bathroom door. I look in the mirror to see a huge red scar where the burn mark was. I look on my wrist to see the red scars there too. What did you do to me? All For One? 3 robberies, 5 assaults, and 1 guy just being an ass. I think that's enough for today, don't you think? Yeah. Head back to UA. Wait, Midoriya, someone's approaching you from behind. I can't tell who. I quickly grab my knife and tiptoe around the roof. I then hear something and turn, but it's too late. I'm punched in the gut and fly across the roof, almost flying off. Who is it, all for one? With that mask and hood, I can't tell. Fight your best. They're strong. I get up a bit wobbly and charge the person. I try and make out their face, but just when I'm about to get kicked, I get wrapped up in something. Midoriya! That voice. This capture weapon. It's Aizawa. Sensei, what are you doing? I watch as Aizawa takes off his hood and mask. You weren't supposed to be out here without me. What if I were an actual villain? I sigh and rub the back of my head. Sorry. I just thought that you looked ill after I last spoken to you. Can you let me go out of this capture weapon? It's a bit tight. Aizawa sighs and walks over to me. He approaches me and lowers my neck collar. What the hell? Let me go! I feel Aizawa touch my healing scar. It makes me flinch. I stare at Aizawa and he finally lets me go. I take deep breaths. It wasn't even that tight. You're overreacting. Midoriya, can you tell me something? I get an uneasy feeling, but not anyways. That healing scar of yours. It looks good now, but they showed me a photo of what it looked like before it healed. What happened when you were kidnapped? That question makes me freeze. Flashes of the event flash before my eyes. Aizawa's POV. I watch as Midoriya goes wide-eyed. He falls to his knees and I immediately rush to his side. Hey, you okay? I ask. No, stay away from me. Stay away. I suddenly get hit in the chest, sending me flying. I look up at Midoriya to see red stuff coming out of his hands. He looks at his old hands with wide eyes and then he crashes to the ground, only for immense power to increase. That almost looks like All for One's quirk when battling with All Might. What if the quirk that was given to him was All for One? I think to myself. Oh, and just in case you don't have an idea. Oh, okay, author's note, my bad. I try and erase the quirk, but just like All for One, I'm unable to. I grab my phone and give Neze a call. Aizawa, what can I cut Neze off. It's Midoriya. I need someone at my location now. His quirk, it spiraled. Got it. Sending someone over now. I hang up and walk towards Midoriya, only for an attack to be launched at me. Luckily, I dodge. Crap, this is bad. It seems he's unconscious due to shock. His quirk seems to be protecting him from me. Hobo man, look up. I roll to see Pro Hero Hawks. He lands beside me. That was quick. The quirk looks like All for One's, Hawk says. Yeah, it does. You sound nervous. Is anyone else you know of on their way? Hawks nods. Endeavor, he's on the way. I pinch the bridge of my nose, knowing this isn't gonna end well. Time skip. What's going on here? I look towards the voice and see Endeavor. I explain the situation and he just wants to fight it. Isn't it a good idea? You have the power, but that thing strikes fast, I say. What do you think we should do? Hawk says. I ponder the question. Wait till the kid wakes up and then we'll try to calm him down. I asked an irritating question, which is probably the cause of why this is happening. What if that thing gets to people? Endeavor says. It won't. It only seems to want to protect the kid, I say. Just as I say that, I hear a groan. I look towards Midoriya and see him slowly waking up. Midoriya, listen to me. Calm down. It's okay. I watch Midoriya's eyes widen. Midoriya's POV. I slowly open my eyes to see a red substance coming out of my hands. I look beside me to see Endeavor, Hawks, and Aizawa. It wasn't a dream. All for One. What's the big idea? Midoriya, listen to me. Calm down. It's okay. My eyes widen. Why the hell aren't you answering, you coward? I'm going to burn it. Don't you dare. He's too much of a threat. Let's eliminate this kid. He's vulnerable. This kid is my student. Lay a finger on him and I'll sue you. You deal with this. Then it is, after all, your student. All right. You deal with this then. It is, after all, your student, Endeavor would say. I tone out their voices and focus on calming myself down. All for One, listen, please. I need you right now. I can't do this alone. You know this. The power seems to immense. More, sending a pain through my body. Please. By now, tears are flowing out of my eyes, and the pain feels as though it's burning me alive. I let out a scream. I thought I could trust you. I thought you could have changed. I was wrong. I start shaking and once again fall to the ground. I turn to Aizawa and the others and mouth sorry before darkness takes over my vision. From Aizawa's POV, he watches as Midoriya mouths a sorry, and then He would then proceed to think to himself that if anyone knows anything about All for One, it's All Might. He would leave the area, and from here, he would make his way towards the direction of Neze, running past him and running toward Recovery Girl, laying down Midoriya before then standing outside and pretty much going over to find All Might, trying to explain the situation again, and All Might, after hearing this, he would get wide-eyed and terrified. All for One definitely gave Midoriya his quirk, All Might says. Why would he help during the overhaul attack though? I say. Exactly. And why was he the only one to protect Midoriya? Why didn't he take over the boy's body and go on a rampage? Neze asks. Chapter 27. Home. And the finale. Previously warning on matters of criticism. Okay. Yeah. Continuing forward. Midoriya POV. You will always be the same weakling from a few years ago. That quirk means nothing if you can't control it. You don't deserve it. You're a danger to society. Traitor. No! I shout. My vision is a blip blurry, but there's a pain in my side. Midoriya, lay down. It's okay. Recovery Girl. What's going on? What happened? I realize my hands and legs are tied down to the hospital bed. I slowly start recalling the previous events. Midoriya, stay put. I need to leave to tell Neze you're awake. I nod as she leaves the room. This is bad. I need to get out of here. I try to pull out the restraints, but to no avail. It doesn't budge. If anything, it just hurts me more. The pain in my body is unbearable. I didn't know the quirk would have such an effect on me. I hear footsteps approaching my door and watch as the door is open to reveal Aizawa. I smile at him, but he doesn't seem to do anything in response, so I go back to my emotionless face. Get up. I get up knowing he's very serious. On the way to who knows where. We don't talk. I realize very quickly this isn't going to end well for me. My hands are handcuffed, and Aizawa's seriously mad. This isn't good. I can't really get out of this. We'll just have to see where this goes. We reach the meeting room, and upon opening the door, I gasp. Hawks, Endeavor, All Might, Tsukachi, Midnight, Present Mike, and Neze. I'm forced into a seat. My hands are being cuffed to the chair, and I look around and everyone's eyes locking on at me. Let's get started, Midoriya. You will answer my questions. Honestly, Tsukachi says. I nod and put my head down, avoiding eye contact. I feel like I've heard that one sentence a million times. Midoriya. Poor kid. He didn't ask for any of this, but unfortunately, I still have to do it. By the way, this is Tsukachi's POV. Midoriya. The events that happened today, you recall it, yes? Yes. True. Midoriya. Do you know anything about your quirk? Yeah. I've noticed that it isn't necessarily in my control. I'm not sure what it's called, but I know that it protects and helps me. True. I see a few shocked faces, and a few knowingly expressions. I see with this newfound quirk of yours, you were planning on betraying us? No. True. I smirk. Who was in control of this quirk? A painful silence is brought upon us, then a scream, a blood-curdling scream from Midoriya. Neze, why would you do that? I hear Aizawa yell. I'm just as angry. We agreed to answer every question. He was hesitant, Neze says, clicking the button once again, stopping the shocks. We only planned on doing that if he refused. He was simply hesitating. Take it easy on him, he's still a kid. I shout towards Neze. By the way, this is Aizawa. I walk towards Midoriya to make sure he's okay, and when I get close I see red stuff on his hands. My eyes widen. Midoriya, listen to my voice. You're okay. I continue walking towards him. I won't hurt you. Trust me. I watch as Midoriya slowly lifts his head to see his eyes overflowing with tears. His eyes are red and glowing. I keep calm and continue towards him. I'm eventually close enough to grab his hands. Midoriya, we aren't threats. I promise. We're taking safety precautions since we know who your power belongs to. I see. Midoriya, calm down a bit. He nods and says, I can't take it anymore. I hug the kid. He seems to have needed it because he burst into tears. I'm sorry, I can't control it. I wish I could. You guys should just kill me. It would make society safer. I don't want to be a threat to the society. I want to help, but I don't want this quirk. I hear him shout as I rub circles on his back. Ignoring the protest, I release the boy's cuff and tell him to follow me out. Thankfully, he does so. Won't the rest of the pros be mad? Where are we going? Why did you do that? Home, I say with a smile. I see the kid's eyes light up, and now we time skip to about 3 months. From Midoriya's POV, it's been 3 months since that meeting. I was able to get rid of the quirk. I've never been happier. I was released from UA and I don't have to attend school anymore due to my smarts. Don't get me wrong, I miss my friends, but I believe they'll do just fine without me. I've gone back to patrolling. Sometimes I even run into Aizawa. Lots of civilians are glad I'm back on the streets patrolling. I've saved countless of lives and plan on continuing to do so. I put down my pencil and close my diary. You still have that diary, Reject? It's been months. I hear a voice and smirk, turning to see Aizawa. Calm down, Aizawa. It's funny. It's just something stupid. Nothing much. I say, a bit embarrassed. I wasn't making fun of it, kids. Let's just start patrolling. From here, they hear somebody out in the distance, and then they both make a bet to see who can catch him first. Suddenly, Aizawa says, "You're on." And now, we close off the story with Izuku thinking in his head. Maybe this story didn't start off in the best way, but at least it ended in a good way. My name is Izuku Midoriya, and I'm the Vigilante, known as Reject. And yeah, that concludes The Quirkless Vigilante, written by Gigi Haha on Wattpad. You can find his links down below in the description. He's the incredible author who wrote this entire story. And can I be honest, ladies and gentlemen, this story, the beginning of this story was incredible. The middle part, I was like a bit confused with the dialogue and the text, but I think it just has more to do with the fact that I don't really read this kind of text, and it's not really my style of scripting, than the fact that it is the writer making mistakes. Honestly, I really enjoyed this story up to the point where the overhaul stuff started happening. So if you guys would ever want to see my like revised take on this, and like I take this whole story and I cram it down into like a 30-minute video where like everything just blitzes by and I fix the minor things that I personally would have wanted to change, let me know down in the comments. And if this video does very well, then maybe I'll drop something like that someday in the future. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that has been it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and all that basic YouTube stuff. And also, make sure to go check out my second channel, seeing as I'm finally gonna be posting some content on there. So, see ya!